Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Renuka RS with the evening news. The headlines. Cabinet approves additional 204 LMT food grains for over 80 crore beneficiaries under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana from July till November. Entire cost of additional allocation worth 67,266 crore rupees will be borne by the centre. National COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 29 crore 46 lakh mark. Recovery rate reaches 96.56%. Farooq Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti to attend tomorrow's all-party meeting called by Prime Minister in New Delhi. Department of Telecommunication further liberalizes guidelines for other service providers to bring in better synergies among businesses. India reaffirms its commitment towards eliminating educational inequalities at G20 Education Ministers virtual meeting. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with participants of Toykathon 2021 tomorrow via video conferencing. All India Radio and DD News retain high levels of trust among people, says Reuters study report. In cricket, India were all out at 170 in the second innings against New Zealand on last day of the World Test Championship final at Southampton. And in Eurocup soccer, Sweden takes on Poland while Slovakia will clash with Spain tonight. Portugal faces France while Germany plays against Hungary. As the nation gears up for free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years from tomorrow, we advise the listeners to get vaccinated. We also advise the listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow the 4 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene, and get vaccinated. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news. Union Cabinet today approved allocation of additional food grain under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana Phase 4 for another period of 5 months from July to November. Under it, 5 kg food grains per person per month free of cost will be given to the beneficiaries covered under National Food Security Act, including those covered under direct benefit transfer between July to November this year. The sanction of the additional food grain free of cost to a maximum of 81.35 crore individuals will entail an estimated financial implication of up to 67,266 crore rupees. Central government is bearing the entire expenditure towards the scheme without any contribution by states and UTs. The allocation in terms of wheat or rice will be decided by the Department of Food and Public Distribution. This additional free of cost allocation of food grains will be over and above the regular monthly food grains allocated for beneficiaries covered under the NFSA. On a review of the continuing COVID-19 situation in the country and to help the poor and the needy during the crisis, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his address to the nation on 7th June 2021 announced the extension of the PMGKY scheme for a further period of 5 months till Diwali in November 2021. Union Cabinet also approved an agreement between India and St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the exchange of information and assistance in collection with respect to taxes. The agreement mainly proposes to facilitate exchange of information between the 2 countries and to provide assistance to each other in collection of tax claims. It will help in facilitating the exchange of information between the 2 countries, including sharing of information held by the banks and other financial institutions.
The Union Cabinet has also approved merger and transfer of all assets, liabilities, rights and obligations of the Central Rail Side Warehouse Company Limited, RWC, with the Central Warehousing Corporation, CWC. It will unify similar functions of both the companies through a single administration to promote efficiency, optimum capacity utilization, transparency, accountability, ensure financial savings and leverage railway siding for new warehousing capacities. India has administered 54,24,000 vaccine doses during the last 24 hours. Over 29 crore 46 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said India reported 50,848 new cases in the last 24 hours. The active caseload has declined to 6,43,194, which is the lowest in 82 days. Over 68,817 patients recovered during the last 24 hours, taking total recoveries to more than 2,89,94,000. Daily recoveries continue to outnumber the daily new cases for the 41st consecutive day. The recovery rate has increased to 96.56%. Weekly positivity rate remains below 5%, which is currently at 3.12%. Daily positivity rate is at 2.67%, less than 5% for 16 consecutive days. COVID testing capacity has been substantially ramped up and 39.59 crore tests have been conducted so far. More than 29 crore 68 lakh vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far through the central government free of cost channel and direct state procurement category. More than 1 crore 92 lakh COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and UTs. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has written to Chief Secretaries of Madhya Pradesh, Kerala and Maharashtra asking them to take up immediate containment measures in the districts where Delta Plus variant has been detected. The variant has been categorized as a variant of concern. The three states have been asked to take up immediate containment measures, including preventing crowds and intermingling of people, widespread testing, prompt tracing, as well as vaccine coverage on a priority basis. They have also been told to ensure that adequate samples of positive persons are sent to the designated laboratories promptly so that the clinical epidemiological correlations can be made. Around 40 cases of Delta Plus variant have been reported in the country so far. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said that this variant has been observed sporadically in Maharashtra, Kerala and Madhya Pradesh. The Health Ministry advises the states to take up immediate containment measures in districts where Delta Plus variants of COVID-19 detected.
In Bihar, the process of registration for the clinical trial of Bharat Biotech's Covaxin on children between the age group of 2 to 6 years began today at the AIIMS, Patna. Kids in this group will be given vaccine shots by the end of this week after being screened properly. AIIMS Patna Superintendent Dr. C.M. Singh said the trial, which had started on the 20th of May, has been divided into 3 stages: 12 to 18 years, 6 to 12 years and 2 to 6 years. Altogether, 28 children in the 12 to 18 years age group have been vaccinated and another 21 in the 6 to 12 age group. None of them complained of health complications so far. The interested parents can get registration done on 9471 408832. They will be paid ₹1,000 as travel allowance. Union Ministry of Health has dismissed the media reports which allege that the homeless people have been barred and conspicuously left out from registering for COVID-19 vaccination due to unavailability of technical requirements. The ministry said these claims are baseless and not based on facts. The ministry clarified that ownership of a mobile phone is not a prerequisite for COVID vaccination and production of address proof for availing vaccination is also not mandatory. The ministry also said that it is not mandatory to pre-register online on CoWIN for availing vaccination. For easy understanding of users, CoWIN is now available in 12 languages. These include Hindi, Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Marathi, Gujarati, Oriya, Bengali, Assamese, Gurumukhi, Punjabi and English. The ministry said while one of the 9 identity cards, including Aadhaar, elector photo identity card, ration card with photo, disability ID card is required for availing of vaccination, special provisions have been made for organizing vaccination sessions for those who may not have any of the 9 specified identity cards or own a mobile phone. The ministry said for those who may not have access to internet or smartphones or even to mobile phone, free of cost on-site registration and vaccination is available at all government vaccination centers. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19 tonight. Dr. Sarman Singh, Director AIMS Bhopal, will participate in the live discussion. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free number 1800-115767 and on telephone number 011-2331-4444. You can also post your queries on a Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on a YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates.
BJP President Jagat Prasad Nadda has criticized the Congress leader P. Chidambaram over his remarks on vaccination record. In a tweet, Mr. Nadda said that it is the Congress's culture to attack Indians whenever India accomplishes a record. He said it is ironical to hear about sanctity of numbers from a recounting minister whose only claim to fame is dressing up numbers in the budget. Mr. Nadda said that India is not limping but sprinting ahead powered by the strength of country's citizens. After the record COVID vaccination on Monday, India has crossed 50 lakh vaccinations on Tuesday and Wednesday, much to the dislike of the Congress party. Minister for Chemicals and Fertilizers D.V. Sadanand Gowda announced that an additional 61,120 vials of liposomal amphotericin B have been allocated to all states and union territories and central institutions today. Liposomal amphotericin B is used in the treatment for mucormycosis. The minister also informed that so far approximately 790,000 vials have been allocated across the country, maintaining an adequate availability to patients of mucormycosis. In Jharkhand, Chief Minister Hemant Soren today announced further extension of the Health Safety Week for another 1 week till July the 1st, effective from tomorrow morning 6 a.m. onwards. Unlock 4 with same relaxations and restrictions will also be in force in the state. More details from our Ranchi correspondent.
All government and private offices will function with 50% attendance till 4 p.m. while all business establishments will open till 4 p.m. Complete lockdown during the weekend falling in between the week from June 26 to 28 will be observed. Medical facilities, LPG, fuel stations and milk parlours have been only permitted during the complete lockdown. Educational and religious places will remain closed. Online teaching will continue in educational institutions. Interstate buses have been prohibited while mandatory home quarantine of 7 days for people visiting from outside the state has been made compulsory during the lockdown. Government and private functions at common places have been prohibited. Only 11 persons will be allowed in marriage and 20 in funeral procession, while e-pass continues to be a mandatory document for any kind of travel within the state. Shilpi, AIR News, Ranchi.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Cabinet approves additional 204 LMT food grains for over 80 crore beneficiaries under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana from July till November. Entire cost of additional allocation worth 67,266 crore rupees will be borne by the centre. National COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 29 crore 46 lakh mark. Recovery rate reaches 96.56%. Farooq Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti to attend tomorrow's all-party meeting called by the Prime Minister in New Delhi. Department of Telecommunication further liberalizes guidelines for other service providers to bring in better synergies among businesses. India reaffirms its commitment towards eliminating educational inequalities at G20 Education Ministers' virtual meeting. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with participants of Toycathon 2021 tomorrow via video conferencing. All India Radio and DD News retain high levels of trust among people, says Reuters study report. In cricket, India were all out at 170 in their second innings against New Zealand on last day of World Test Championship final at Southampton. And in Euro Cup soccer, Sweden takes on Poland while Slovakia will clash with Spain tonight. Portugal faces France while Germany plays against Hungary. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें,
Centre is disseminating awareness of national helpline numbers for the benefit of citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. The helpline number of the Health and Family Welfare Ministry is 1075. The child helpline number is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number is 14567. The helpline number of National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, for psychological support is 08046110007. Ayush COVID-19 counselling helpline number is 14443 and MyGov WhatsApp help desk number is 9013151515.
Welcome back. You're listening to the evening news. Ahead of the key all-party meeting with the central government tomorrow, J&K's Gupkar Alliance has accepted the invitation from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. However, the alliance is expected to place their view on issue like Article 370. Congress has confirmed its presence at the meeting. Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad will attend the meet. National Conference patron Farooq Abdullah has said that they expect that they will be able to make clear their position to the Prime Minister and Home Minister Amit Shah. People's Democratic Party chief Mehbooba Mufti, who is in Delhi, has said that she hopes for a clear resolution to their concerns, saying that every issue can be solved through dialogue. She also said that there should be a clear resolution on the restoration of Article 370. Department of Telecommunication has further liberalized the guidelines for other service providers, OSPs. These entities are business process outsourcing BPO organizations giving voice-based services in India and abroad. Speaking to reporters, Information and Technology and Communications Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said there is now no distinction between domestic and international OSPs to bring in better synergies among businesses. Mr. Prasad informed that India's BPO industry is one of the largest in the world. He said the industry has a potential for double-digit growth, reaching up to 3.9 lakh crores by 2025. The minister said steps like Electronics Manufacturing Productivity-Linked Incentive Scheme, dedicated scheme of Electronic Manufacturing Cluster, and dedicated PLI scheme for telecom equipment are initiatives in achieving Atmanirbhar Bharat.
हम चाहते हैं कि दुनिया की बड़ी बड़ी वॉइस की बीपीओ कंपनियां हिंदुस्तान आए, देश स्थापित करें, लोगों को नौकरी दें। आज जो हम ग्लोबली इसको लिबरलाइज कर रहे हैं इस गाइडलाइन को, ये दुनिया की गाइडलाइन के स्तर की है। डिस्टिंक्शन बिटवीन इंडियन कंपनी एंड इंटरनेशनल कंपनी रिमूव, डोमेस्टिक और इंटरनेशनल एज द केस में भी, एंड फ्रॉम द टेलीकॉम रिसोर्स दे कैन सर्व देयर कस्टमर एनीवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड। और इसके लिए जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक प्राइवेट ऑटोमेटिक ब्रांच एक्सचेंज की बात थी, वो भी दुनिया में कहीं भी लोकेट हो सकता है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that in order to encourage a BPO industry, other service providers' OSP guidelines that were liberalized in November 2020 have been simplified even further. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that it offers greater ease of business and regulatory clarity. He said this will further reduce compliance burden and help our tech industry.
India reaffirmed its commitment towards eliminating educational inequalities at the G20 Education Ministers meeting held in Italy virtually. Addressing the meet, Minister of State in the Education Ministry, Sanjay Dhotre, reiterated the country's commitment towards reducing and eventually eliminating educational poverty, inequalities and early school leaving. Speaking on the National Education Policy 2020, the minister said it envisages equitable and inclusive education for all with special focus on children and youth, especially girls, from socially and economically disadvantaged groups who are more at risk of being left behind. Mr. Dhotre said that the Indian education system has made steady progress towards bridging gender and social category gaps in all levels of education through multiple interventions. He said some of these include increasing intake capacity of schools, tracking out-of-school children and monitoring the learning outcomes of vulnerable students. He informed the government also took special care to address mental health issues of students through counselling programs like Manodarpan and others. G20 education ministers also reiterated commitment to ensure continuity of quality education during the pandemic. The education ministers adopted a declaration at the end of the meeting. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with participants of Toycathon 2021 tomorrow at 11 a.m. via video conferencing. Toycathon 2021 was jointly launched by the Ministry of Education, Women and Child Development Ministry, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Ministry, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Textile Ministry, Information and Broadcasting Ministry, and All India Council for Technical Education AICTE on 5th of January this year. It was launched to crowdsource innovative toys and games ideas. Around 1.2 lakh participants from across India registered and submitted more than 17,000 ideas for the Toycathon 2021, out of which 1,567 ideas have been shortlisted for the 3 days online Toycathon Grand Finale, which is being held from 22nd of June to 24th of June. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, this grand finale will have teams with digital toy ideas, while a separate physical event will be organized for non-digital toy concepts. Toycathon 2021 is aimed at boosting the toy industry in India to help it capture a wider share of the toy market. India's domestic market as well as the global toy market offers a huge opportunity to our manufacturing sector. The Union Minister of Education will also be present on the occasion. In the ongoing pandemic, several NGOs came forward with a helping hand. One such NGO is Action Aid, which has helped several people during the first as well as second wave. Talking to All India Radio News, Sandeep Chachra, a social anthropologist and executive director of Action Aid, informed that Action Aid is helping the government in the vaccination drive. They are reaching the people at the last mile like the refugees. More details in this report.
ActionAid is a part of People's Vaccine Alliance. Mr. Chachra informed that ActionAid is helping to reach out to the maximum people to get vaccinated. He informed that in view of the suspected third wave of the pandemic, COVID childcare facilities are being set up in public hospitals associated with the pediatric wards. The NGO is also working towards the education of marginalized children who had dropped out of schools due to the pandemic.
As part of our efforts, we of course are taking no chances. Apart from strengthening public health infrastructure, we are also focusing especially on more vulnerable groups such as the children. We are setting up COVID child care facilities in public hospitals within the pediatric or associated with the pediatric wards.
The NGO had helped 7.7 million people in the first wave of the pandemic. Diksha Saxena for All India Radio News, Delhi.
Union Minister for Labour and Employment Santosh Gangwar has said that India is making collective efforts to reduce gender gaps in labour force participation. He said the country is ensuring education, training, skilling, entrepreneurship, development and equal pay for equal work. Mr. Gangwar said this while delivering ministerial address on Declaration and Employment Working Group priorities at G20 Labour and Employment Ministers meeting in New Delhi today. He further said the new Code on Wages 2019 will reduce gender-based discrimination in wages, recruitment and conditions of employment. He said women are entitled for all types of work in all establishments and employers have to ensure their safety and provisions for working hours. He informed that the duration of paid maternity leave has been increased from 12 weeks to 26 weeks. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio on the 27th of this month. It will be the 78th episode of the monthly radio program. The Prime Minister has invited people to share the ideas and topics he should address on the coming episode of the program. People can share their views on the NAMO app or MyGov Open Forum. They can also dial the toll-free number 1800-117800 and record the message for the Prime Minister in either Hindi or English. People can also give a missed call on 1922 and follow the link received in SMS to directly give their suggestions to the Prime Minister. Public broadcasters, All India Radio and DD News, along with print brands, retain high levels of trust among consumers. This was revealed in the 10th edition of Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism's Digital News Report 2021. The study was conducted at the end of January and beginning of February this year. The report says in India, print brands in general are more trusted than television brands. It said TV brands are far more polarized and sensational in their coverage. In India, it added that 73% of respondents in the survey access news through smartphones, while social media access is high, with 53% using WhatsApp and YouTube for news. The report also looked at the impact of coronavirus on news consumption and on the economic prospects for publishers. It looked at progress on new paid online business models, trust and misinformation, local news, impartiality and fairness in news coverage. The centre said it has sanctioned 1.12 crore plus houses and delivered over 48.5 lakh houses to the beneficiaries so far under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. In an exclusive interview to AIR News, Housing and Urban Affairs Secretary Durga Shankar Mishra said these houses are not confined to 4 walls and a roof alone. The houses will have all the basic facilities like gas connection, proper sewage with septic tank. On the eve of completion of 6 years of 3 major flagship programs, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban, Smart Cities Mission and Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation Amrut, Mr. Mishra said these schemes are transforming people's lives.
When I say we have delivered houses, it is not house with the 4 walls. It's a house which will fulfill the dreams of the poor man. Housing is a dream of every person who comes from the rural area to the urban area. He needs a good house. So this house has got water, drinking water. This has got gas to cook their food. This has got a toilet and a septage or a sewer system. And it has got electricity. Everything possible. Then only we consider the house is complete. The beneficiary moves in there.
The full interview can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:15 p.m. onwards on the FM Gold channel and additional frequencies.
In Sports Roundup, All India Radio brings the latest news updates in national and international sports arena throughout the day. And with only 29 days to go for the beginning of India's Olympic quest at Tokyo Games, we focus especially on some of the promising Indian medal contenders. Today we profile India's woman boxer MC Mary Kom. MC Mary Kom started her boxing career by winning the national gold medal in 2001. Thereafter, her name became synonymous with winning in the ring. She is the only female boxer to win gold medals at the World Amateur Boxing Championship 6 times in 2002, 2005, 2006, 2008, 2010 and 2018. There are 5 gold medals to her credit at the Asian Boxing Championship. Mary Kom won a bronze medal at the London Olympics in 2012.
वुमेन बॉक्सिंग को ओलंपिक में इंक्लूड हुआ फर्स्ट टाइम 2012 वाला लंदन। हायर कैटेगरी में खेल के ब्रॉन्ज मिला, बहुत माइंड रखती हूँ। मेरे पास सारे मेडल है, मैं क्यों सेटिस्फाइड नहीं हुआ? जो मिलना चाहती हूँ अभी तक मिला नहीं है। मेरा इंडिया को प्राउड फील करना चाहती हूँ। ओलंपिक में देश के लिए एक बार गोल्ड देना चाहती हूँ।
In cricket, India were all out at 170 in their second innings against New Zealand on last day of World Test Championship final at Southampton. Chasing the target of 139 runs, New Zealand were 44 for 1 in the second innings when reports last came in. India had scored 217 in their first innings, while New Zealand had scored 249 in their first innings.
In the Euro Cup football, Sweden will take on Poland at St. Petersburg, while Slovakia will clash with Spain at Seville in Group E fixtures tonight. Both matches begin at 9:30 p.m. Indian time. Final Group F matches will be played later tonight between Portugal and France at Budapest and Germany and Hungary at Munich. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Cabinet approves additional 204 LMT food grains for around 80 crore beneficiaries under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana from July till November. Entire cost of additional allocation worth 67,266 crore rupees will be borne by the centre. National COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 29 crore 46 lakh mark. Recovery rate reaches 96.56%. Farooq Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti to attend tomorrow's all-party meeting called by Prime Minister in New Delhi. Department of Telecommunication further liberalizes guidelines for other service providers to bring in better synergies among businesses. India reaffirms its commitment towards eliminating educational inequalities at G20 Education Ministers virtual meeting. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with participants of Toykathon 2021 tomorrow via video conferencing. All India Radio and DD News retain high levels of trust among people, says Reuters study report. In cricket, India were all out at 170 the second innings against New Zealand. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.